Okay, this is my first YouTube video ever. If anything, I am filming this video purely for the nostalgia. When I was like a preteen teenager, I was obsessed with watching tags. Like, if you know, that's like circa maybe 2011, 2012. Yeah, those were the days. I've watched the content for so long, and I decided, why not me? This is something I've always wanted to do. YouTube is something that I've always loved watching. So why not? I mean, I am on a journey trying to get over insecurities, I guess, judgment, fear of what other people think, when really I don't care. Okay, so let's get into the tag. So the first question is, what is my name? So my name is Ebony Ivory. If you were like, oh, that sounds familiar to Ebony and Ivory by Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney, I will tell you a story. So my mother grew up on a street, and there was a girl who would come and visit her grandmother, I believe, every summer. And her name was Ebony, spelled Ebone. And my mom thought, oh, that's the prettiest name. If I ever have a daughter, I'm gonna name her Ebony. Lo and behold, she marries a man whose last name is Ivory. Crazy, I know. My mom was like, I don't want to have her name be Ebony and Ivory. She might be picked on. People might compare her to the song. And my father, who is from Louisiana and has a little bit of French background, with foreign language, he was like, okay, how about we put an accent over the E and give it the name a French twist, so it would be Ebony Ivory. So I'll say all that to say, it actually didn't matter what they did. People still reference the song Ebony and Ivory. And honestly, I just own it. I sometimes have a hard time starting a conversation. So when people instantly ask me questions about my name as soon as I introduce myself, easy flow of events. It's like, honestly, a God-given gift. And I feel like that is such an iconic name. So it is my duty to fulfill the beauty of such a name like that, or such an iconic name. Anyway, next question. Okay, so birthday. I was born November 10th, which makes me a Scorpio. Now, interestingly enough, when people meet me and they find out that I'm a Scorpio, I don't know, a lot of them are shocked. I'm not sure why. I don't know. I don't care. I don't know enough about zodiac signs to like really get into it. I do think some of the traits are kind of on par with my personality, but take with that what you will. So where am I from? I am from Columbia, South Carolina. I am a proud citizen of South Carolina. I grew up here for about the first 9 years of my life. And then we moved to Atlanta, Georgia for about 3 to 4 years, and then 3 years. And then we moved to Valparaiso, Indiana, outside of Chicago, Illinois. And we lived there for about 3 years. And my last 2 years of high school, we came back to South Carolina, and now we're back in the Columbia area. So I'm glad to be home. South Carolina is so beautiful and it's so rich with so much history. So I'm very proud to be from this state. Okay. Next question. Siblings. Okay. So I have a younger sibling named Joe. They are probably the complete opposite of me. Joe is the artist. We're both artists, but to me, they're like the true definition of a creative. Like, what you think of an artist, like, pause. What comes to mind when you think of an artist? That is probably my sibling. They live in Chicago, where they are pursuing their art endeavors. I am incredibly proud of them. They are my built-in best friend. I begged for them when I was a little child. I am the older sibling. We're about 2.5 years apart. So, next question. What is my favorite food? I am a sucker for French fries, but since I am, as my father says, bourgeoisie, my favorite is actually truffle fries. So, like, fries, truffle oil, freshly grated Parmesan, with like an aioli sauce. Chef's kiss. I love it. So, my favorite place that I visited, I would say that my favorite place that I've ever visited was the south of France, Provence region. I was there summer 2022 with one of my best friends, and it was a stressful trip, but because we lost our luggage for the entirety of our trip, and I did not receive my luggage for like another 2 weeks after I returned to America. So that sucked. But it was very much a humbling experience in the sense that I had the opportunity to be present and not be caught up in the materialistic things. And the south of France is just so, like, it is unreal, especially if you go outside of the tourist regions of Provence, and you kind of just end up in these small pocket towns throughout the region. You will find like some of the most stunning places that you have ever seen. It is for me, the quintessential countryside, or for me, at least my idea of the countryside. I have so much love, and I cannot wait to go back whenever I need a moment to rest and really take a deep breath. My mind wanders, and it actually wanders to a picnic that I had on a vineyard in Provence. So that, I will say, is my favorite place that I've ever visited. Okay, so now I'm going to move into questions that were asked on my personal Instagram. If you would like to follow me on Instagram, it is at Ebony Ivory, EBONEIVORY. Okay, so the first question that I got is, what made you go to law school? So let me first start by saying that I'm in law school. So I am currently a rising 3L here in Charleston. I attend Charleston School of Law. Now, what made you go to law school? I wish I had like this like beautiful answer, but I'm just gonna be honest. So the first reason is I genuinely am a nerd, and I find the law fascinating, and I find it interesting how it works and how it works collectively. So there's different topics within the law. So there's like contracts, property, torts, criminal law, criminal procedure, constitutional law, all these different areas of the law. But what's really cool is that there's this intersectionality where they all work together in a universe. And so in law school, you learn each of them individually, but then as you progress in the program, you see how they all work in one collective universe, and you can use all of these elements to create opportunities to either defend clients, create contracts, go into public policy, become a judge. There's so many ways to use the law. And for me, as someone who considers himself a creative, I find the law deeply fascinating in a unique way for artists to express their creativity. Specifically for me, my interests are in commercial real estate and corporate transactions. Now, a lot of people hear that, it's like, that's so boring. To me, it's not. To me, it is an opportunity to create. And when you create a contract and you actually put all these different clauses and elements together. You're trying to make this beautiful masterpiece. And then you start to work with opposing counsel who's defending the other client or working for the other client. And then it comes like this symbiotic dance. And so now you guys are working together to create this beautiful, beautiful masterpiece that is both appeasing to you and your client and also to the opposing party and their client. So for me, I find it deeply fascinating. I also am very passionate about advocacy. I am also a philanthropist outside of school, also inside school. And knowing and understanding laws allows me the opportunity to pull that into my philanthropy work when I have an understanding, especially with the different areas that I work with. So primarily I work with a nonprofit called the Hive Community Circle, and they work with women of color in South Carolina or women in general, and they focus on women who have experienced domestic violence, stalking, just things of that nature. I'm blanking, I don't know why. But they are an amazing organization. They're based in South Carolina, but they work with people all over the state to make sure they have the resources they need. I'm going off on a tangent. Let me bring it back to the question. So the last reason, and this is probably like not a fancy way to say this, I just simply have trust issues. So people say things to me and I'm like, but is it really? Is that really what it says? And do I really have no other options? So I'm like, okay, I need to go to law school and figure it out for myself. Like, I need to know with my own eyes, is this how X, Y, and Z works? So that is kind of the gist of that and what made me go to law school. All right, so my transition to law school from undergrad. So I graduated from law school, or from undergrad, May 2021. And then I took a gap year and started my own business. I own a charcuterie business, and it was an opportunity for me to, hit the ground running and do something fun. But also learn the ebbs and flows of what it's like to own a business. So I thoroughly enjoyed that experience. I still own the company, but now I've scaled it back to be just like events only. So if you have like a wedding, baby shower, graduation party, birthday party, I cater those kinds of events. Also corporate events. So the last question. So how do you balance the chaos of life? The short answer is I don't. I do a lot of things and I take a pride in the things that I do. And I'm sure to the outer eye, it probably looks insane. And you're probably like, how does she do all of it? Essentially, what I do is I take it day by day. That sounds corny, but stick with me. I take it day by day and I'm aware of dates and deadlines, and I plan out lightly what my month or week looks like, but I don't believe in like hard cold planning because life happens and you can't plan life into an agenda. So I'm more of a list person. So I need to do X, Y, and Z. And so I figure out ways to get those things done. And if something comes up and it's pushed to the next day, or I can multitask or stack my time and do those things simultaneously. But there are sacrifices to living a chaotic life. And it's really down to passion and drive. And if you don't have those things, then you probably will have a difficult time maintaining that. And there are sacrifices, like sometimes I sacrifice sleep, which I shouldn't do, sacrifice my health, which I shouldn't do. So yes, I I seem like I have it together, but there are still shortcomings that I experience just like any other person. And it's hard to balance. And balance is an interesting word. I don't really believe in it. I believe more so life lives on rotation. So, like, right now, starting a YouTube channel is my priority. Tomorrow, it will be me going to work and getting my work done. Uh, and then the next day, it's like me focusing on the materials that I need to study for my class. The next day, it will be the research paper that I need to do. So, like, there isn't balance. Like, I just rotate like different things that I am passionate about, want to make time for, and just do it like Nike. Um, okay, that's all I have. I would just like to say thank you for watching this first video. And if you have not learned, I truly do put the ramble in Rambling Rose. So I talk a lot. And I hope this is an outlet for me to build a community and talk a lot more about these things over time. All right, bye.